In the Willewansum, everybody. What Makwat, Wapam Nisa Kanat, Skogam Smogat, Nisa Kanat. Toixit Newsome for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. What Makwat, never lost, of Wapam Nisa Kanat, downward endear man. So a little more update for you. We had a fantastic tea. And so people of the Sacred Fire family, I'd like to thank you so much for all your hard work, connecting the nations, and preparing us to reintegrate with spirit and the land, our culture, and the names that are attributed to it. So shout out to Gugajung, shout out to Ditot, the main fire keepers within the Sacred Fire family. I myself have been trained somewhat, not formally, just kind of indirectly from the last Sacred Fire, from last year's all-native basketball tournament, 2024. What an amazing experience that was. Really opened up my eyes. The whole world of the technology of Sacred Fire. I do believe that it is an ancient technology. Lots of care, lots of attention goes into Sacred Fire, and it's an excellent means to offer food to the Lüülgit, those that have passed, our ancestors, and to amplify prayers and healing. So shout out to the Heiltsuk for hosting this year's opening ceremony. We're looking forward to working alongside them as far as the Sacred Fire is concerned. Sacred Fire opening ceremony, just to kind of kick things off and cleanse the area in question, of course, being the Civic Center. 2025 All-Native Basketball Tournament, February 8th to the 15th. It's exciting, so shout out to the All-Native Basketball Tournament board and all the work that they do. Just a fabulous amount. We're simply doing our part as far as the spiritual connection is concerned. What a wonderful reception that we got of the Sacred Fire last year. Big shout out to Wilps Tsm'syen for getting in contact with us and initiating that process of using the Sacred Fire on the Cupum Will Haithiathmedik. So shout out to Tsm'syen, not least Samogat Skogam Laxha. Skogam Laxha of Gits'iis. Many blessings have been bestowed upon our city, the city of Laxha, that's on Laxha, place of foam. Wonderful wormwood kind of story attached to the wormwood and the foam in the water and the actual wormwood Adaawx. Before we enter into the deep winter months, not so much is planned, perhaps like Sacred Fire workshops. So yes, we're going to need fire keepers, we're going to need helpers, we're going to need cured wood, we're going to need medicine, and come on down. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a big pot of soup again. If you want to offer something to that, that's great. But other than that, you know, the typical prayers with the fresh cedar is mainly what the Sacred Fire is offering, a space for you to offer prayers. You could say them out loud, you could speak them in your heart. You don't have to share with anybody. You take a cedar bough, you approach towards the fire, and then you offer it as a prayer. While we're taking this opportunity to talk about Sacred Fire, it's on us, it's our responsibility to be in a good place before we even approach the Sacred Fire. It is a Sacred Fire. We need to be in a good spot of heart and mind. Yes, you can go there for healing. So that's every bit part of it. We have experienced people that are going through some stuff. We still offer them a space for them to heal and just tell their story. There's really little that we could do. We just offer that space, and we offer our ear. We offer a cedar bough. We offer a seat. We offer a bowl of soup. We perhaps offer some coffee, which is often like donated by the public. Shout out to the public, the people of Laxha, so the island of On Foam, place of On Foam, with the people of Prince Rupert. They're really what makes these events special, is that connection that transcends cultures, nations, and ethnicities, and we could all share in the fire, in the power of the fire. So it's very cool. February 7th to the 15th. Now that's a full 8 days of sacred fire. We're going to need helpers, those inclined to be perhaps a fire keeper one day. You know, that's a calling that really brings you into that path. You know, it's a very special place, the path of medicine. I fully admire those that walk the path of medicine. They show up in the most remarkable places at the most remarkable times, and they offer a lot of insight, a lot of wisdom. So helpers would be more or less just ensuring people are in the right place, thinking that, right, you're in the right place before you even go to a sacred fire. You're ensuring that people aren't taking photographs of the sacred fire or stepping on the stones, the grandfather stones. You know, you could offer food into the fire, but no plastics, no artificial kind of material within the fire, no garbage. Speaking softly even helps a lot, because like if you come with this really jazzed up energy to the fire, it actually amplifies it a little more. And I would implore you to Hegwilian, walk gently, softly, slowly. I do not believe the ancestors really shouted and were really as boisterous. They spoke very softly, they were very evenly paced, they were very dignified, and they were very gentle, very wise in their application of their strength. They did not wield it about willy-nilly. So yes, part of the duties of the helpers would be to ensure that people are in a good place, and welcoming too as well. If somebody is stepping on a stone and it's just a mindless mistake, totally innocent, and you correct them in the wrong way, you can actually have slightly negative impacts, right? You come down hard on somebody. You know, there's an opportunity to grow and teach and grow together. So I myself included, you know, like I did find myself with this weird tone, getting off the stones and whatnot. And that in itself is a lesson in community, communication, trust, building trust with one another. And this is what it's all about, building trust within the community, really making a sacred spot. In Slamsk is sacred. And the root word for that would be, of course, Slamsk, respect. So in Slamsk, it's all centered around respect. Whatever is sacred is respect. Whatever respect is respected is sacred. So this comes from the heart. You know, you really got to own that. You really got to be every part of that and connect with the fire in that sense, and be aware of your prayers and perhaps what you're sending out there and what you might receive. So very interesting, powerful stuff. The trusted fire keepers, I'm in talks with one of them right now to perhaps do a workshop and provide people with material to understand what it is about the sacred fire, so they could approach it prepared with prayers, prepared with a peaceful heart. You'll be able to receive that healing. You'll be able to receive the amplified healing and transmit, if you will, amplified prayers. So very, very exciting stuff as far as the sacred fire is concerned. And I think it's something that really does transcend a lot of boundaries and borders and such, and really brings us all together. So looking forward to that. So just to flesh out this this idea of the Gitlachen people, it's really any knowledge keepers or people interested in preserving culture. So yes, the people of Gitlachen, they really transcend boundaries and such. And any knowledge keepers, anybody interested in culture, preserving the knowledge and all of that really ties us together. Sacred Fire family is definitely very grassroots, including the house of Nisakanat. So Wapam Nisakanat, Kaskogam Smogat Nisakanat, all my ancestors, I very much thank you for being in this position. You know, the Sacred Fire, history of the Heiltsuk, Hamaťsa, the Tanis, the secret society dance groups. Oh my goodness, it is coming to life. It is coming to life. When When I started this journey some 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I had no idea it would be this magical. There's just this very, very strong thread, spiritual thread that's still running through our bloodlines, still running through our houses, and all up and down the coast. So it's very exciting to uncover this history between the Hamaťsa and the Tanis, which we call it up here, Hamaťsa down south, and the Heiltsuk. Haimas, Hamjit, Haimas, integrating into the Gits'iis tribe, Waapam Nisyakanat. It's all recorded in the Adaawx, not least with Lüülgit. Lüülgit, of similar origins, he was the father, and man, it's just a wonderful story, and it's all kind of coming together this year. Sacred Fire, February 7th to the 15th. So if you did have any questions about what it is, what Sacred Fire is, you could contact gits'iistribe.com, admin at gits'iistribe.com, gits'iis-tribe.com. We'll be able to fill you in on certain details. Perhaps you could express interest on covering one of the helper shifts. When it comes to monitoring the Sacred Fire, the firekeepers will need assistance around the clock, 24/7 for all 8 days. Firekeepers handle the fire directly and can do a bit more advanced cleansing techniques. Helpers are basically there to manage the cedar boughs, make sure things are clean, answer a few questions, and ensure nobody is tampering with the fire directly without the supervision of the firekeeper. To basically, if they've ever come into a problem, they'll defer to the firekeeper. That is the nature of the helpers, the firekeepers. We are to get more counsel on how to receive such an illustrious individual such as Gigame Kwaxistalah. Gigame Kwaxistalah, Henry Seaweed, fully initiated into the Hamaťsa, Naxkwdox Tribe. Just a wonderful, wonderful man, and he is willing to come up here and sit alongside us, perhaps share some Hamaťsa. He's really liking what we're doing. For this man who is held in such high esteem within the Kwaxistalah nation, to be excited to work with us and be willing to come up such a ways at such an advanced age. So speaking with George Hunt Jr., once again, once he heard that he was excited about working with us, that's when George Hunt Jr. got excited about working with us. George Hunt believes Gigame Kwaxistalah, one of the last old connections to the ancient big houses, not least after the unfortunate events in Ba'as, the original village, which is now known as Blunden Harbou these days, Ba'as, and those big houses getting burnt down. So reconnecting that history now, here we are now trying to reinstitute all of these ancient rites, halite, shamanism and such. I would like to fill out the calendar even more beyond February 15th and looking towards, March and springtime, and not least with Haimas, the time to gather Lüülgits, and really amped up for that. I mean, we're in the middle of Haimas, and we're thinking of going on clam digging expeditions and hunting expeditions and such to prepare for these teas, to prepare for Lüülgit feast, of course, teas, hidi, and continuing that process and really getting in touch with the cycles of nature, using our language. What are language nests, and what do we need to make that successful? Well, we need fluent speakers, and oddly enough, babies. So babies crawling around or whatever, they're just exposed to nothing but some Adaawx. And through this, we're going to get native speakers. So that is generally the only way, if not the only way, to actually get fluency back. Because fluency is desperately sliding away from us on the coast as far as it comes to some Adaawx. There's still some strong speakers out there. There's still some strong practitioners of Adaawx. We need to kind of get that back. And the language is one of those things. Language feeding into the arts, and it's really the foundation of the culture in itself in Adaawx. And on this note, there are some hard losses within our houses, and I fully understand if some of these programs are not going to be able to go underway because of the heavy losses are felt by a lot of houses on the coast right now, a lot of families. We would be remiss not to speak of those that are no longer with us. With that said, I believe we still need an eye to the future. We still need an eye to our children to ensure that culture has remained intact and strong within our hearts, especially as we pull today's generation, the movers and shakers, together as they were once long ago in the past, all tied throughout the rekindling of the clans. Rekindling of the clans, that's what it's all about. Sacred Fire is one of those tools that we use to connect us. Language is another one of them. And continuing just the community work, the building of relationships with other nations, with the other Tsm'syen. Shout out to Weenat, Gerald Stewart, part of the Heiltsuk of Waap, one of the many young nobles. And shout out to Wee of the Gigame Tribe, fellow brother Ganhada from a different tribe. He's been a wonderful Silget, a Wilcogosk of sorts, a archiver of history, an Algigask, a person who is able to dispense advice. And so these teachings, and it's coming together in the community. It's coming together in real life. You got to show your face around. You got to show up at the feast hall, at the soups. You got to speak the language. You got to adhere to Adaawx. You got to adhere to a culture. And that's what we're all about. And that's kind of where Sacred Fire family comes into the fold. As I say, Weenat, we Gwnaeth, Gugajang, Ditotk. These are the four main individuals, two of them being firekeepers, and the rest of us are helpers and keepers of knowledge, and those with the drive to pass it on into the coming generations, Kukulyansk, to be passed down for all time generation. February 7th to the 15th, Sacred Fire, Mr. Henry Seaweed, Gigame Kwaxistalah, will be coming up. And so big Gelakasa to Gigame. Wow, what an honor. And then the Sacred Fire family, which is really grassroots. It's just us. It's just a handful of people. Don't get us wrong, the community has responded and supported us, but we could garner more support. We could garner more healing, more opportunities, more space for culture, healing, learning, growing for our people, and that's kind of where we're at. So we will be humbly requesting monetary donations. So you can go to our blog on Gits'iis website, gits'iis-tribe.com, and go to our blog. Right at the top of the blog page, you'll have Stoke the Fire. And so you can offer us monetary donations for that. Everything will be muchly appreciated. We still need to rent venues. We still need to rent venues and honorariums for elders, knowledge keepers, and accommodations, I would say. So these are the three main things. Of course, money goes a long way and can be used for many things, any of those other things, but on the top of my mind would be the honorariums for honoring Gigame's time, for honoring knowledge keepers' time, elders, paying their way, paying for the venue, making it a community thing, coming together and lessening these barriers to access to information, access to culture, access to healing, access to amplified prayers. So it's all about seek at get. Seek at get. We're creating and harvesting get and personal empowerment. Just as much as we would be Adaawx, creating laws, the Tsm'syen creating laws, Haimas, getting salmon. So this Sinech, it's very prevalent within our language. So I think it's more than just picking stuff up and consuming it. It's really gathering that strength, being in contact with the source, being in contact with the force, the life force of nature. Some might call it chi. We call it gat. And we get it through adherence through Adaawx. So Gits'iis for bestowing these teachings upon us, for bestowing Adaawx, our culture, our language, and all the great bounty and beauty that we experience along the coast and very exciting working with people of Gits'iis, really bringing people into the fold, making them experience that wonderful, authentic Tsm'syen ceremony, not just escapism, pastime, or entertainment. It is ceremony. It is highly, highly formal and very much serious, adhering to strict laws, but we try to make it as natural and relatable as possible so that, you know, our human natures have a chance to be in this space. We hold that space because we are not perfect. And this is why we need ceremony. And this is why we need culture, is in order to stand us up and put us in a good way. Shout out to Gits'iis, Haimas, which begins tomorrow, Yagakemk, downward moon, or otherwise known as new moon. So Yagakemk, setting out intentions for this coming fall as we go into winter, the deep winter months, Lüülgit and Lüülgit even, as we move into months of the north winds and deeper winter months. Before you know it, everything is going to be opening up once again. The are going to be coming back, the Lüülgits, the miracle fish, and we're going to be on the rivers. We're going to be we're going to be harvesting those. We're going to be gifting it out. We're going to be connecting with our people. We're going to be sharing Adaawx. We're going to Somalia. We're going to light those fires. And so big shout out to our Lüülgit. This is what the sacred fire is all about. This is what bringing back all of our Adaawx is all about, so that they're not forgotten. That's Malsk. That's Malsk. They are every bit a part of our culture, every bit of this spiritual journey, those that are no longer with us right now, as any other portion of our culture that has existed or that exists today. It's alive and well within our hearts, and that's why we're doing this work. That's why we're having the tea. That's why we're calling for support. That's why we're asking you to open up your storage box. If you have anything from the land, moose, kind of traditional food and stuff like that, I've been putting the bug in some people's ears here and there, and they're more than happy. And so we're formally, humbly asking for support, you know, plane tickets for Gigame, honorariums, possible accommodations, further honorariums, gas money. You know, some of the Simgigit are going to be coming down and we're going to be inviting them down. It'd be great if we could give them some gas money. Anyway, to help them along the way. So once again, you could do a monetary donation at Gits'iisTribe.com to go towards the Sacred Fire family and all of the initiatives that they're doing with culture and firekeeping. You could like or share. Check out our Instagram. Check out our YouTube. Send us an email at admin@Gits'iisTribe.com if you got any questions. We're being a little more active as far as that's concerned. And we need support because we all have wonderful strengths, but we can't be everywhere at once. As much as we can, coming together in strength, in culture, reconnected with spirit and language and all of those things. So if you could support us, that'd be great. We're going to be continuing to develop curriculum. We're going to be developing courses. We're going to be perhaps even publishing things, getting more in touch with my Google Yansk within my house group, because, you know, very, very strict as far as Google Yansk is concerned. You can't very well go and speak someone else's Google Yansk intellectual property. It belongs with your blood group. It belongs with your bloodline. And it all begins with your mother, and then your mother's history, and her mother's history, and her mother's mother's history, and her mother's mother's history, all the way back to the original mother, stretching back into the spirit times. So those with names that come out of those spirit times, those who could be considered the Simgigit. And it's important to honor them and elevate them to where they ought to be. They're supposed to be the living embodiment of that original ancestor. Then all of the healing, all of the wealth, all the while the wealth goes laterally in egalitarianism. Bit of a stretch to kind of wrap your head around that, reconcile that, you know, with the names being in a hierarchical structure which stretches back into time and then having an egalitarian outcome as well. And that's why it's all about Hegel-Yan and building these communities and building these relationships and giving out and giving, building that relationship, making sure everybody's taken care of and strong, and we're all moving together. And yes, in that case, we're going to be needing support in that sense. Medicine, cured firewood, food, wineach, dala, dollars, money, very much appreciated. Go to our blog. We're going to be producing more blogs. Again, it's myself that is doing all that. So forgive me for not having the output that might perhaps that some people might want, but we're getting there. I'm learning, and that foundation is crystallizing within my mind. So I'm able to produce things a little more. I'm able to speak a little more authority as I get polished and initiated into Adaawx and all of these ancient protocols. So Toix Newsome, Demalgik Gits'iis, Amplifies, the best to you all. I will see you all again. Demal Al Gits'iis, I will see you all again. Amplifies, Hegel-Yan, you walk softly. You walk softly, gently, slowly. We'll all be seeing you this coming All Native Basketball Tournament 2025. So that's what Naxkwdox Tribe signing off, and we'll see you on the flip side.